Another question, is my list always up on my wall? Yes, my list is always up on my wall because I am a visual person. And if it's not on my wall, then I just don't think it'll be on front of my mind. So it's always on my wall because I'm a visual person and I have to physically see it. That's just the way that I function. Another question we have for you is, what advice do you have for reopening the practice? The most popular topic that's going on right now. So Jerry, I'll leave this to you and Kim.
Well, I think it depends on what stage you're at in preparing for going back for your practice. But one of the things I've found myself saying repeatedly in the last week or so, as we have a few teams that have already gone back to work and others that are coming, is number one, do the best that you can with what you have until you have more and can do more. So that's your PPE things, as far as what equipment should we have, what shouldn't we have, what do we need to have, right? We don't have a mandate about that. We have guidelines and recommendations. So do the best that you can based on what you know, based on what you can get a hold of. That's one. The other is prepare the team. Get together with your team in advance before you start seeing patients again. Have your protocol mapped out of how are we going to intake patients, how are we going to function and flow through the practice, and how are we going to minimize risk for ourselves first and for the practice and the community. And actually physically practice that protocol once you have it mapped out. And I mean from putting on whatever you're going to be wearing, if you're wearing a N95 and a shield and a hat and a this and a that and a tent and whatever you're going to do, make sure you practice that and actually mock it up and mock it through before the first day of being back and seeing patients. My other piece of advice that I have found to say also repeatedly is allow a whole lot of grace with each other, because it's going to be awkward. We're simultaneously, right? Happy to be back, scared to be back. We're coming back to some new change, right? We didn't have to wear these things before. We didn't have to do all this stuff before. So there's change. We're all going to go through things differently, just like we've gone through all of this differently and experienced those different emotions. So grace with each other, grace with your patients coming in, because they're going through the same thing in a different way. Then you're going to have 80% that are going to be okay. And you're going to have that 20, right? The 80-20 rule, the 20% that are going to probably, that might say something or might be like, this isn't enough, or well, how come you're not giving me a mask, or whatever it is. And just be patient, more patient and more graceful with each other. But practice. I really, truly, I wouldn't want to open my doors tomorrow. And Kim just took Bob and his practice through this, and then their practice day is on Monday. They're going to walk through it. They're going to talk out any questions, with the mapped out protocol. And get some ideas from your team, because they might also have some ideas. But basically, when it comes down to the final decisions, that is doctor, right, specific. And then practice it. Get up and practice it. Each person gets to pretend to be a patient coming in the door. How are we receiving them? What's the verbiage we're saying? And for me being an I too, I always want it to be, even when it's scary, I want it to, and not Pollyanna, not fake at all, but what's the most positive way we can present and be okay with, this is different, this is awkward, yeah, this is crazy, I know I look like Darth Vader, here I come to see you, whatever it is, right? Just be more on the positive, not the fearful side. That's my advice.
I love it. No, I absolutely love it. It's almost like you're going to role play the scenario before it happens.
Yeah.
So
yes,
if you were
exactly.
to kind of make sure that, and like you said, I think the most important part about any of this is to have grace with each other. Understand that this is a difficult time for everybody. Everybody is going to have questions. We may all be impatient. We may all be, and nothing that is new could be easy. right? There's always a little bit of time to get used to it. There is always a little bit of, I don't even want to say that there are questions regarding, because that's what it means when something is new. When something is different, it's just new and different. So it just takes time. So give each other the time, and and it's okay to. I always think that if we were to be authentic with our own patients and just tell them what we are thinking and just be real and honest about it, they're going to appreciate that a lot more than a scripted script that you are going to read to them. If they come in, if they say, wow, you look scary right now, this is so different, it's okay to say, Mrs. Smith, I completely understand, this is very different and it's very new for me too, but you know what, we are doing this to make sure that you're protected and we're protected, so we are doing our best to keep you away from emergency rooms at the hospitals, and we are here to help you. And so you just be honest about it. You don't have to use a script and act like a macho person, and nobody expects you to do that either. And the moment you do that, you are now becoming unauthentic, unreliable, and people are going to question your trust, right?
Yeah,
the one thing that really binds us all together is trust. And it takes many, many years to build that trust. It takes a lot of trial and error and work, sweat and tears to build trust. But it takes one moment of this ridiculous fakeness to lose that trust. So, always think about it and say, how would I like to be treated in this situation? And then treat accordingly.
Yeah.
And that's as simple as
and
that.
what would I want to know? What would I want to know, right? If I'm going to the doctor right now, or if I'm going to the dentist or wherever, what would I want to know? Don't make assumptions about people too, right? What they do, what they don't know, but also remembering that the majority of the community, that as a patient, and even myself being in dentistry for 28 years, there's not one chance that I could advise you, doctors, as to what PPE you needed to have. As a patient, I couldn't walk in and be like, oh no, we are not, that's not enough air filtration. Oh no, that is not, is that an N95 or is that a level 3 mask? I don't think you're wearing an N95. No, right? We don't know those pieces. So we're just relying on you. And if we ask a question, and I'm speaking as a patient, right? If we ask a question, it's not an accusation, it's truly a question, because we just don't know.
We just don't know. Absolutely right. Well, I think this is a great place for us to end. Did you guys believe it's been an hour since we've been on?
No.
You did so great.
It wasn't so bad.
You did so amazing.
Kim is still alive.
This
She was going to die, but she's still there.
We're still here. So it's so much fun. Well, everybody who's been watching, thank you so much. I know if some of you were shy today. It's okay. It's all good. Go ahead and make sure that you put your questions in the comments. Jerry, Kim, and I will go through all of them. I know I didn't get to go through all the questions, but trust me, we can be here all day long. And this is my 4th hour of doing a webinar today. So I've been talking quite a bit, and I think my voice needs a little bit of resting. Remember, the Minal time is happening very soon. So enjoy the rest of your day, guys, and make sure to tune in as always. Thank you so much for watching us today. And thank you so much, Jerry and Kim, for being incredible and sharing so much. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye.